112,000 is the number of men, women, and children awaiting organ donations that could save their life. This is according to organdonor.gov. I'm here to inform you about organ donations. Organ donations is something that affects many people, and many healthy people could donate to help someone out. I learned about organ donation in anatomy and physiology class last year, and I have been interested in it ever since. Today, we will discuss some general information about organ donation, the general history of organ donation, and some myths about organ donation. To begin, let's first talk about general information. Many people wonder, what is organ donation? What can be donated, and who can donate? Well, organ donation is, according to Cleveland Clinic, is the process of surgically removing an organ or tissue from someone's body, which is a donor, and placing it into another person, the recipient. Transplantation is necessary because if a recipient has organ failure or an organ has been damaged by disease or injury. And many people wonder, what can be donated? Well, anything can really be donated. Some of the most common things that are organs that are donated include the liver, the pancreas, the kidney, heart, lung, intestine, cornea, middle ear, skin, bone marrow, heart valves, and connective tissues. And the last most common question is, who can donate? A donor can be alive or dead. So really anybody can donate. But if you would like to be a living donor, you must be at least 18, in good mental and physical health, have a good support system, and you must be well informed. That is according to transplantliving.org. Next, we are going to talk about the history of organ donations. Organ donation has a long history. It started out on human cadavers and then moved to living people. We're going to start in 1968. This is not the very beginning, but it was the first successful transplant performed here in the United States. It was the first successful bone marrow transplant in 1968. Then in 1967 was the first successful heart transplant in South Africa. In 1967 as well, the first successful heart transplant was performed. In 1966, a pancreas transplant was performed, and it was very successful. In 1963, the first organ recovery from a brain-dead donor. So they took organs from somebody who was brain dead, and they transplanted those into somebody else, or they at least tried. In 1983, the first successful single lung transplant with a significant survival rate, and this was more than 6 years. More than 6 years. In 1989, the first successful small intestine transplant was performed. In 1988, the first split liver surgery was performed. This procedure allowed 2 recipients to each have a portion of one donated liver. In 1987, the first successful small intestine procedure was performed. In 1999, the first hand transplant was performed in the United States. This is just a short list of highlighted events that I wanted to highlight. I chose these ones because these seemed like larger milestones for the organ donation recovery, or like the organ donation efforts. This timeline was on the website organdonor.gov. And finally, we are going to address some myths around organ donation. There are many myths around organ donation, although today we are going to address some of the most common types. The first myth I would like to address is that EMTs won't go the extra mile to save your life if you're a registered organ donor. This is simply just not true. Most doctors won't check to see if you're an organ donor unless they have a reason to resuscitate you or have a do not resuscitate order. The second myth that I would like to address is if you're an organ donor, you may end up being drugged, kidnapped, and wake up in a bathtub of ice missing a kidney, which is to be sold on the black market. Personally, I find this one funny. It sounds like something out of a scary movie, and if they are going to drug you, kidnap you, and take your organs without permission, they're most likely not going to check to see if you're an organ donor. So I find that funny. Kind of sounds scary. Scary movie vibes I get from that one. But anyway, today we talked about organ donation. We talked about general information, history, and we turned myths into facts. You can always learn more about organ donation by going to organ donation website or by becoming a donor yourself.